said thus, he gave up the ghost. Jesus now is at the end of his earthly ministry. For more than 33 years, he had walked the earth doing the will of his Father. But now Jesus had gone as far as he could go in his current state. He was at a point where he could do all he could do. In order to take on the next phase of his destiny, he had to be transformed. While he was on the earth, he was 100% God and 100% man at the same time. He was supra and natural together. But for his eternal place, he had to lay down the natural. In order to do this, he had to give up the spirit. Some argue that when he uttered those words, "I commend my spirit," that he was not giving up the Holy Ghost, but he was giving up that spirit that was breathed into the breath of the nostrils of man in Genesis. In either case, there needed to be a transformation. And there was only one set of hands which he looked to. The hands of a loving Father. For the last 18 hours, his life had been in the hands of men. With their hands, they arrested him illegally. With their hands, they stripped him naked. With their hands, they whipped him until flesh fell from his bones. With their hands, they beat him unmercifully all night long. With their hands, they plucked hairs from his beard and his hair. With their hands, they slapped him until he was blue in the face. With their hands, they punched him until he was unrecognizable. With their hands, they tried to drown a crown of thorns on his head. With their hands, they placed a robe of mockery upon him. With their hands, they nailed him to a cross. With their hands, they sought to put an end to his existence. But in the hand of the Father, you ought to tell your neighbor, in the Father's hands, in the Father's hands, there is love. In the Father's hands, there is safety. In the Father's hands, there is peace. In the Father's hands, there is comfort. In the Father's hands,